September, the world holds its breath as darkness sweeps across Europe. What follows will become the deadliest conflict in human history. 6 years, 6 continents, 60 million lives. This is World War II. I'm Anna Park.
It began with lightning. At dawn on September 1st, armored columns stormed into Poland. Tanks, dive bombers, and infantry moving as one. Blitzkrieg, they called it. Lightning War. Within weeks, a nation fell, and the world was plunged into war.
By the spring of 1940, the storm swept west. France fell in just 6 weeks. Cornered on the beaches of Dunkirk, hundreds of thousands faced annihilation, until a ragtag fleet of little ships braved the channel to carry them home.
Then Britain stood alone. In the skies above England, outnumbered fighter pilots dueled wave after wave of bombers. Night after night, cities burned in the Blitz. But the island held, and the threat of invasion broke against its shores.
In June 1941, the largest invasion in history erupted. Over 3 million troops poured east into the Soviet Union along a 1,000-mile front. The Eastern Front became a furnace, vast, frozen, and more savage than anything before it.
Then, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. Without warning, waves of aircraft struck the U.S. fleet at Pearl Harbor. In minutes, battleships burned. By the next day, America had entered the war.
Now, the war spanned the globe. Across the Pacific, vast carrier fleets hunted one another over endless ocean. Island by island, the fighting was ferocious. Coral beaches and jungle ridges contested at a terrible cost.
At Midway in June 1942, the tide turned. In a single breathtaking morning, dive bombers caught the enemy carriers and sent 4 to the bottom. The balance of the Pacific shifted, and it never shifted back.
Far away, across the deserts of North Africa, armies surged back and forth over the sand. At El Alamein, a massive assault finally broke the line. Of that victory, Churchill said, "This is not the end, but it is the..."
This war was won not only on battlefields, but in factories that never slept, by millions on the home front forging the tanks, ships, and planes that turned the tide. An entire world was mobilized. Now, Edmund, to the war's most brutal crucible.
Stalingrad. For months, 2 armies tore each other apart, street by street, through a frozen and shattered city. When the encircled forces finally surrendered, it was among the bloodiest battles ever fought, and the war's great turning point.
Above Europe, the air war raged around the clock. 1,000 bomber raids thundered through flak-filled skies to strike the enemy's heartland. It was...
Then came the greatest invasion ever launched. June 6, 1944, D-Day. Before dawn, a vast armada crossed the Channel, and beneath a sky full of paratroopers, the Allies stormed the beaches of Normandy to begin the liberation of Europe.
From the beaches, the Allies broke out and raced across France. City after city was freed, crowds pouring into the streets in joy. From west and east, the noose tightened around a crumbling empire as its armies fell back toward home.
And as the armies advanced, they uncovered an unspeakable horror. 6 million Jewish people and millions more had been murdered in a systematic genocide.
By the spring of 1945, the end came fast. Soviet forces fought into the heart of Berlin as the regime collapsed. On May 8th, Europe fell silent at last. Victory in Europe. After nearly 6 years, the guns of a continent went quiet.
But in the Pacific, the war ground on. Then, in August 1945, a single new weapon unleashed a force the world had never seen. 2 cities vanished in an instant. Days later, Japan surrendered, and the deadliest war in history was over.
60 million were gone. Cities lay in ash, and the world was remade. From the ruins rose a vow: never again. We remember the courage and the staggering cost, so that those who follow never forget. Thank you, Edmund and Sophia.